Hi friends, it's Becky, and I just finished unboxing and organizing the companion bundle for the Budding Romance bargain bead box. This was the bargain bead box that we got in our subscription, and then they did a companion bundle, which I just organized in my last video, and I'll put a link to that in the description because the companion bundles are very limited in quantity. And so if there are things that I'm making with this that you're like, oh, I wish I could have that, I showed the product numbers of the items in there on that video when I was unboxing and organizing it. So if you want to see if they have any, like maybe these little rose guys, that's something that you could go purchase from that site. And wow, it's just really busy behind my thing. Anyway, so I mean, there's always that option, but I really want to make some earrings. So this is going to be an earrings video. And I already pulled out like some of the elements that I want to use for each of the earrings. This pair of beads was a freebie with my order, because they like to give you a free pair of beads sometimes, and this is perfect. It goes really well. Like, look at that. Look at that. It goes absolutely perfectly with a lot of the items in that Budding Romance bargain bead box. So I decided to go ahead and use that with my earrings for that. But these lampwork beads, this came in the companion bundle, so I'm going to be using those. These flower beads also came in the companion bundle, so I'll also be using those. These flower charms that are resin and metal. It's these resin roses that are glued to these charms here, so that you've got a little loop. That came in the companion bundle, as did these little leaves, because I'm feeling really springy. I want to do like springtime flowers sort of a make with these. I want it to be springy and floral, and I think we're going to be able to get to that with these options. And these came in the subscription box. We had some of these filigree multi-loop connectors, so we're going to make some chandelier earrings with these. And then we've got these rose charms that are enameled roses, and then we've got these leaf charms that have this gorgeous blue that goes absolutely perfectly with this extra strand of beads that we got in our subscription boxes. So I'm going to be working mostly from this side of my bead box, not as much with the reds and purples, but mostly with like the really pretty aqua color and this gorgeous sky blue and our soft pinky purple rose gold nuggets from the bargain bead box. And then on this side, I'm probably going to be using a lot of these green beads, and most likely some more of the rose quartz. I'll probably also be using some of these beads with the, no, I'm going to pull this. Look at that. Look how well it goes with that red. Okay, so I lied. I am going to be using some reds with that, but we'll do that. And then I've got some leaf bead caps, and we've got some more of these flower bead caps and some of these rose spacers. So we've got all of our bits and pieces that we need to be able to make things with. I pulled out some ear wires that are already all made and ready to go. And I've got some findings that I actually just got these in that unboxing. I got some little ball head pins, which have a kind of a really malleable and thin cord. So I'll probably, when I do them, use wrapped loops for those if I use them. And I haven't decided completely how we're going with this. Then I also got these fancy head pins that have some decorations at the end, and these have a really thick gauge core to them. So when I do that, I will probably be making some loops with my one-step loopers because that's something that they are good with. I've also got some 22 gauge and 20 gauge wire for wire working if we're going to be doing any of that. And I've got my tools that I like to use when I'm making jewelry. I've got my flush cutters, my chain nose pliers, and my round nose pliers. I've got a little container of jump rings in case I need to use those for anything. And I think that covers just about all of my bits and pieces and where we want to go. This is another thing that I wanted to add to this. This wasn't in the companion bundle or in the Bead Box Bargains, the subscription box, but they were a couple of these little rose quartz pendants. And because rose quartz was such a part of the this month's box and the companion bundle, I thought that that would be a great addition to our little earrings jamboree. And that's the number, the 1982. If you wanted to go onto the site and grab yourself a couple of those. I did notice that they were, the last time I checked, in the leaving soon section. That's when things get like below a certain number and quantity in in stock quantity, that they head to that section. So they may sell out at some point between now and when you get there. I don't know, maybe they will, maybe they won't. But so we've got these little drop pendants. So I think 9 pairs of earrings is gonna be enough for us tonight. Let's start picking our beads for these guys. I'm gonna scooch these guys over to the side over here, and I'm going to try and decide what beads I want to go with this guy for these. And I think I want to go with some of these turquoise rondelles for the dangles. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. And what I'm going to do is I will be putting one set of earrings together with y'all, or one of the earrings for each of these pairs with y'all, and then I will be making the other one off camera so that it isn't like the longest video ever. It's still going to take a while because we are going to be making nine of these. And I think what I want to do with these as well is grab some of these garnet beads, that because I think that they will be really pretty with that. And we're just going to do some really little drops, and then to go with this I'm going to grab a couple of these 4mm garnets for the top, because there's going to be so many beads with this and it's so long. I don't want to weigh it down with large beads, because then it'll end up being a fairly heavy earring. But I think we're going to make some drops with the ball head pins and these, and just have it attached that way. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do with this. All right, so let me grab a few of these off of this strand. I hadn't even opened this one yet. One, two, three. Put those over for that second one, and then we'll do 1, 2, 3 with this. Oh, I already had 5 of them out. All right, so we picked our beads for this earring. I'm gonna set these over here so that we're ready to go when we get to that. And let's pick the beads for our next one. All right, so next one, let's go ahead and stick with more of the ones from the bargain bead box before we move to beads that we're doing with that. And I'm definitely using these guys with some of these bead caps. And I think I'd like to also use these sort of mauve rondelles. I think that'll be really nice. Yeah, let's use those together. I think those will be really pretty. All right, so that's for one earring. And this is for the second earring. I like having my little organizers here so that I can get all of the projects organized up there. And there will be a link to where you can buy this bead mat from in the description as well. It's one of my favorite bead mats to use just because of its organizational bits and bobs and everything. So we've got kind of a darker green here, but I think we're going to want some of this involved. And there are these little bits here that I don't know if you can see. You could add additional links and drops to this if you wanted. I don't know that I'm going to be doing that though, but I definitely want to hit some of that light pink vibe with this. So let's grab some of the rose quartz and some of these spacers. I'm just going to do one of those spacers, but I'm going to sandwich it with some. I'm going to grab some of the lighter pink rose quartz nuggets. There we go. Instead of the darker pink ones, the ones that are more towards the purple side of things. There we go. So the lighter pink ones with these and a couple of these guys. Actually, let's do a couple more of those. All right, so 4 of those, 2 of those, 1 of those, and 1 of those. All right, nice, nice, nice. And then I'm going to grab this. This didn't come in the companion box or any of the others, but I really want to use this and these nuggets. Like just all the nuggets. Let's get all these nuggets out there. Just as many nuggets as I can. Nug life, right? That's what I say whenever I make chicken nuggets, and my son heaves the heaviest sigh you've ever heard because he's like, Mom, nug life. It's real, yo. It's real. Okay, so we're gonna have some nuggets, and I think, but I'm not sure, that I might want to do some spacers in between them. We'll find out when we get there. But I'm just gonna kind of divide these up in half-ish a little bit, sort of. I don't think I'm gonna need all of these for each earring because that's a lot of nuggets. But I just want to make sure I have enough. In fact, it's probably going to be closer to like maybe 14 each, maybe, or not. But those 2 stay there. All right, so that's one of them. Yeah, and we'll figure out spacers when I get to that one and see if I want to use them or not. So I might, or I might not. It depends. Okay. Then we've got this guy who has these really pretty flower inclusions. And those are just the perfect colors to go with these guys. From the bargain bead box, and I think I'm going to use the fancy head pins for that too. So let me pull a couple of these guys out because I'm really feeling it for this one. Really feeling it for this one. No, I don't know if I want those guys or these guys. Ooh, I know, a whole stack. Here we go. Yeah, let's do several of these colors in there. Not that one. That one's a little too faceted. It had extra faceting. The wrong kind of faceting. All right. So 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1 plus that. They're gonna look really pretty. Yay, spring. I love spring. Spring is such a great, I got excited about fall. I got excited about winter. I'm getting excited about spring. I just love the change in seasons. I love what it means for life and the universe and just moving through everything. It's so much fun. And so we're doing some springy makes right now. Okay. So now the rest of these were from the companion bundle, and I've got these blue turquoisey kind of check glass flowers here. I think what I want to do with them is pull out more of these guys, because look how great they look together. Gonna make a little drop probably with those. And ooh. Get some pinks in there. And maybe, let me see how this looks with it. Do I like the hyacinth? Nope, not that one. How about red? Nope. The light pink, the rose gold. Oh, let's try one of these. Well, there's a lot of different flavors of this for pinks, so let's try one of these. Maybe not that pink, maybe oh yes, that one. Yes. Okay, let's find a match for that in here. I think that one, maybe that one. There we go. I like that. So this is the pink rhodonite that came in the companion bundle, and I'm combining some of these beads that came in the bead box with the rest of these that came from the companion bundle, like these fantastic disc beads, check glass disc beads that we got there. All right, and for this I'm probably going to be using these. So let me grab a couple of these out. Where am I going with the rest of these? Okay, so everything else has drops, except for these ones that have just regular beads. These two have drops, so I don't need head pins for those. I might do fancy head pins for this one again, actually, because fancy head pins. But also I'm gonna need to pick some things to go with it. Okay, the greens. No, you know what? No fancy head pins. We're gonna do some greens. And 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so 6 of these bicones, or are they rondelles? These are crystal rondelles. 6 of these green guys. Look how great they look together with that. And then some of these. Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 6 of those and 6 of those. Okay. All right, so that's going to be enough. And I'm not going to use a head pin on this. I'm going to do something funner with that one. We're going to just use some wire for that. And it's going to be funner. I just had an idea for it. So that's going to look really fun, really springy. I am excited about it. Wait, did I get all my Guys, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, 9, okay. So this one, it has these light green leaves, and I'm going to grab a couple of these guys and some of the pink rhodonite. I think they'll look beautiful together. For that, that's going to be my pinky guys. It'll be fairly simple earring design. Some of these will be very simple earring designs. Super simple, super easy. Because sometimes you need something really easy to just have a win, you know? You need a win. You need something that you can start out with and be like, okay, I am going to make this and it's going to be perfect and it's not going to take a lot of time or energy and it's going to be exactly what I want it to be. And so an easy win. So I'm going to grab these chunky guys because this is fairly lightweight with it being resin as well. So we've got those. I'm also going to grab a couple of these rose spacers like that. And this will be a fairly simple and easy earring to make as well. So let me grab some wire. Right. Because I'm going to make just a little link with these two beads on it to connect this drop with this hook. And then I can set this aside for when I'm done. And I'm just going to take off some 20 gauge wire. Let's do 20 gauge. And since I've got it out, where's the end of my wire though? Oh, there it is. I couldn't find the end of my wire. Okay, so I'm going to take some 20 gauge wire for this. I'm just straightening it out and also warming it up with my fingers real quick. And since I've got them out and they can handle 20 gauge fairly easily, I'll grab this one-step looper and we're going to do this. All right. I'm going to make a little loop on that end. It's nice and closed. And then I'm going to do a little scoosh with my pliers. Cut off about a finger's width from there. And I'm going to want my loops to be perpendicular to each other instead of lined up and going in the same direction. So Joey was telling me what she does is she holds it sideways like this, which I'm gonna be honest, it's a little bit easier for me to hold rather than turning it towards the camera. I mentioned that doing so many of them in a row with it facing the camera so you could see what I was doing kind of took a little bit of strain, put a little bit of strain on me, and then you want to just have it there so that the gravity keeps the beads away from that. Now I am going to turn it just for the sake of you seeing how it works. It is a super quick thing, and I'm just going to tamp down again on this loop on the other side. It just work hardens the loop so it's less likely to open up on you. All right. Now I'm going to swing this loop open like a jump ring, put on my dangle, and then there we go. Earring one done. Like I said, super simple, super easy. We're just making some loops, and if you don't have a one-step looper, that's okay. You can still make a simple loop using round nose pliers by grasping your wire right there between them. Turn the wire all the way until it meets the wire on the other side. Actually, that's not all the way. I could probably do a little bit more. There you go. And so when it's down there, you can rotate your pliers down here, open them up and rotate them so that the bottom of the this loop right underneath it is where you hit it with your other part of your plier, and then just give it just a little backwards pull like that to center your loop. And that's how you can make a simple loop with your round nose pliers if you don't have a one-step looper. All right, now let's do the same thing with this guy. I'm just gonna make a really simple earring, just another link. So I'm going to, since I already made one loop on this end, I'm going to cut this wire off and stack my beads on there. You know what I think I want? I want some, I've got the flower petal spacers, or I've got the leaf bead caps. So I'm just going to try both of them on and see which one I like the best with this, because I think what I'm going to be missing on this link are some bead caps. So let's try both of these out, because these bead caps came with the subscription box and these came in the companion bundle. So I'm going to drop one of these guys on here, and I'm just trying out these leaf bead caps, see how I like them. When you do bead caps, you want your curved end to be facing toward the bead that it's capping. I'm going to try it now with the flower bead caps. Ooh, I think I like the way these fit on the bead a little bit better. I think these bead caps will be better on larger beads than these flower bead caps are, because it was poking out a little bit, which isn't as big of a deal when you have yeah, I love it. Okay, I love that. And again, with this, I'm going to want my other loop to be perpendicular so that this faces forward when you're wearing it. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this into my one-step looper. Hold it on the side. I did a whole review of the one-step loopers, and last week, everything that I made, I used the one-step loopers for. So I'm still not an expert at using them. They don't always close up, but that's okay because you can close them up. Okay, there we go. So now I can pop this on here. And let me actually grab a couple of those flower bead caps for my second earring before I forget, so that I know that that goes with that one. Because I know that there's a trend right now. And you know what I did? Both of these they're not perpendicular. They are facing parallel directions, both of my loops. And I want them to be perpendicular. So I am just going to twist with my pliers. And that's going to change the direction of at least one of the loops. Maybe both. All right, that way I can swing this open. and attach my leaf charm here. Yes. Okay. That way. And then swing this closed. Now I have earring number 2. Look at this. Look how verdant that looks. With the pink and everything. Love that. Yay, spring. I love pink and green together. It is such a great color combination. Okay, so this one's going to be fun because I'm going to do a little hoop with a ball in it. And so for that, let's pull off some more of this 20 gauge wire. And it's just going to be a little hoop. So I'm going to pull off about 5 inches of wire. All right, and I'm going to want a loop on one end. So about 1 inch down, I'm going to make a bend like that. And now I'm going to string on some of these beads onto this wire. And it's just going to stop right here at this bend. And I'm going to do 1 green, 1 disc, 1 green rondelle, 1 pinky purple disc, 1 green rondelle, 1 pinky purple disc, there we go. And now this lampwork bead right there. Then going to string that on exactly the opposite way so that they are mirrored. So I have 3 of each of these on each side, with the disc being right next to the lampwork bead. All right, now I'm going to form this into a circle or a drop. I don't know. I think an oval. Yeah, an oval. Bend that a little bit further in. I can adjust this shape with my fingers after I get this on here. Oof, I love that. Maybe just a little bit, tighten it up a little bit more. I'm going gently so that I don't accidentally put any pressure on the beads. Okay, yeah. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Now I'm okay with there being some wire showing up here at the top. I actually quite like that. So I am not going to be mad about that. Right here, I'm going to bridge both of these wires with my pliers to hold them firm. I'm going to start wrapping this end around that core. And I'm just going to go up about 3 wraps. Now, the tricky part is going to be making my second earring to match this. So, luckily, you don't have to sit through that. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and cut off this end here. tuck in any loose bits. Just the edge of that wire. Now I'm going to make a loop up here. I could do a wrapped loop and just wrap it back down around here, but I'm just gonna go ahead and make my life a little bit easy and make myself a simple loop using my new favorite tool. So I made myself a little loop. Now I have a springtimey, it's almost egg-shaped, which is like a super springy like shape for us to have. Make a really great Easter earring if you celebrate that. Yay. I'm really happy with that. What a great earring. Oh boy. So yeah, the tricky part is going to be making the second one to match, but you know what? I can do it. I believe in me. You need to believe in yourselves, folks. It's super helpful. All right, so this one we are going to be making a drop with the check glass bead by using one of these. Got a little drop down here at the bottom. Now to make a wrapped loop, I'm going to pinch right here on the top with my pliers and bend the wire over the top because that gives me enough space right here for wrapping. I'm going to take my round nose pliers, and I don't need to attach this to something else before I wrap, so I'm just going to go ahead and make my loop, bring my wire all the way around. Actually, I might need to make a smaller loop for that. Bring that wire all the way around. All the way around. Like that. And then once I've got my loop made, I can use my fingers or some pliers to wrap my wire around there. Tell you what, this minty turquoisey color is so great. Love it. All right, so now I've got my little loop, which makes that my dangle and drop. And I can go ahead and make myself another link. I'm going to start with the turquoisey. I'm going to have this stack, and it's just a bunch of different shapes of these beads, which is really cool. Gives it a lot of great visual interest to have beads of all sorts of different shapes on there. And with this, I can actually twist this if I need to, if I want to. So I don't have to make sure that these loops are parallel or perpendicular. I can just have them go whichever way I want. Go. yeah, I'll link to my unboxing, and then I'll link to my review video for this, in case you want to see it like in action with a lot of other things, and also, you know, how I feel about it. I'll give you a rundown. I mean, obviously I'm using it, so it's not like I was like, oh, this is terrible. There were some niggly things that I was like, oh, do I really like it or do I not? I had to figure those out for myself. All right, so since this is a simple loop, I can swing the loop open with my pliers like you do with a jump ring. And I can just slide that other loop, my closed loop, right onto it and swing that closed. And I have another pair of earrings. Oh, looks like I lost my light, guys. I mean, not all of my light. I've got my studio lights, but I lost my daylight. What happens? The day got away from me. Okay, so this one I am definitely making. Do I want to stack all of these on the same? Yes, I do. I absolutely want to stack all of these on the same one, and I am going to grab one of my spacers. In fact, one of these rose spacers. Let's do that. Stick a rose spacer between this gorgeous bead. I love this bead. I'm so glad. They always give you a freebie when you place an order, and this was my freebie, these beads for that order, and I love that because it goes so well with everything that we're doing here. All right, now I'm just gonna play around with the bead order and see if I like that. Or if I want it to be in a different direction. Do I like that? Nope. I mean, I want those beads, but I just don't know if that was the order that I wanted them to be in. I think this order might work better for my sensibilities. Yep. So now that I've got that on my fancy little head pin, I'm gonna go ahead and grab that one-step looper again. I'm making sure that there's some room between that bead and the looper. Oh, because when it goes to close it, if the bead is too close, it will break it. And that can use a little extra closing. Just fine and normal. This is going to be a very drop kind of an earring. It doesn't have a lot of movement to it, but it will dangle very well. That's something you can do with a really long head pin, like we've got there. All right, now my other idea is very similar to this one, only instead of this bead, I'm going to have this kind of be in the middle, and then these guys all up along the sides. And for this one, I am actually going to try and fill up that space with all of the beads for it. And the question I had for myself is, do I want to add some green or maybe some gold or some spacers to it? And I think the answer to that is going to be no. I just want the rose quartz. Now, because of the direction that this loop is, I am going to add a jump ring so that I can get it on there a little bit better. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but I finally got some rubber bands for these so that I won't have them spill everywhere and have to sort through them again. So that was a lot of fun. I mean, it was kind of fun, but it was also a lot of work. All right. Now, I don't need this to stay open for very long. I just need it to be open long enough to put this on because I'm going to just string the jump ring onto my wire when I put these guys on. All right, so for this, I'm going to choose a size that I want my loop to be. And do I want a loop or do I want a drop? Because this one's more of a drop and not exactly a hoop. I think I want a hoop, and I think I want it to be a little bit... No, because when you form a hoop around something, it's going to be a little bit larger than that when you're done. But you will need to have something big enough for these beads to go along and be between. All right, let's divide these up between some bigger ones and some smaller ones so I can kind of space them out a little bit better. Medium? No. Yeah. Maybe a drop. And maybe the drop will be formed around this. It's a little bit smaller of a loop, but yeah, okay. All right. I'm going to pull off about 6 inches then for this. I'm gonna find my middle of this wire by bending my ends toward each other. I'm going to just put this around. I'm rubbing just the end of this around my form. I do want this to be a drop, so I'm gonna just estimate that, yeah, drop shape. That's about the right spot for it to meet the other side with it. Okay. So when I'm done putting on my beads, I can pull it like that, and it'll go back to that drop shape. All right, I'm gonna start putting on some of these beads, and I'm hoping that they will travel. Nope, that is not gonna work like that. Smaller beads. Maybe what I need to do is shape it after. Maybe I just need to stick to smaller beads. Nope, that's too long, and it's the bend, it's the curve that the beads don't like going around. So I'm going to form it into the drop shape after I get these on there, which means that I'm not going to be able to really judge how far halfway is. Oh, but you know what I can do? I can put, because it's a jump ring, I can open it up and put it on after I get the drop shape formed, so I can figure out where the middle of this is at that point. All right. I'm just trying to be a little bit random with the shapes and sizes that I'm putting on here. Some smaller ones too. A teeny tiny one. Oof, I think I need one more bead so that I can have a decent halfway point. Yeah, one more smaller bead right there at the very end. Again, my hard part is going to be making my second one be like this one. There we go. That way I've got a good middle portion for putting my jump ring on after we're done with this. Okay, so that is facing that direction. I'm just going to bend this part this way. All right. Well, the hard part is because I like to hold my my wire when I'm doing my wrapping. I'm not holding my wire because I don't want to break any of these stones. Oh no. Hold on. That needs to be a little bit rounder on that side so that we have a better middle. There we go, that's my middle. All right, and now I need to make a loop. Hold on, I don't want that to go anywhere. Oh, there we go. I'm just bending that over right there so that it doesn't move. I want that shape to stay right where it's at. Okay, yeah, the hard part is going to be making the second one be just like this one. Fortunately, you guys don't have to worry about that. I'm going to be doing a lot of comparing my number of stones and things to the others. All right, now let's make a loop up here at the top. This is a second way to make a simple loop, just by wrapping the wire around there and then right here, giving the wire a little snap so you can close it up. Like that. All right, now let's get this jump ring open and get it on there. All right, I figured out how to do it. The real test is going to be replicating it. That's going to need to be a little bit wider because it's going to need to go around some of these gemstones a little bit. Between the gemstones. All right, let's get this on first. There we go. And then I'll put this back on. Now I will close up this jump ring somehow. Okay. Whew. That was a lot of work, but I love it. So it's worth it. Oh boy. Yes, I will post a picture of all of these so that you can see how the second one looks and whether I got it right. It'll also be the front of the video, the thumbnail. But if you want a longer look at it, it will be on there. I might also post it to the Beadbox Bargains Creative Corner. That's a Facebook group if you're on Facebook, where, you know, they usually post announcements there too. But it's a great place to get inspiration and to see what your fellow beaders are making from that box if you're not a member. I'll post a picture there, and then I'll post it one on the community page on my channel. So it should pop up for you as a little post. Yeah, it was worth it. Okay, I think I love it. 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 All right. Whew. All right. So that was a lot of work. So let's go do something that's not going to be as much work. And that's going to be this guy right here. This one. Wait. Is that going to be work? No, not as much. All right. Yep. This one's not going to be as much work because we're going to be doing basically the same thing we were doing with the other ones, where we're making a link and putting an ear wire through it. So let's get these guys on here. I'm going to put the turquoise one of the nuggets, this flower spacer. Yeah, doesn't matter. Another one of these quartz nuggets, and one of these guys. Wait a minute. Did I get some of these so I could do it like this? Let me see, because I didn't actually see how I like these beads stacked yet. That's too much of the turquoise, so let's just do the flower spacer and then the rose quartz, and the turquoise will bookend either of those. There we go. Yeah, I like that one better. All right, let's move those aside. And just more simple loops. I thought I was going to be doing a lot more wire wrapping than I have been for this. So, all right, so the same thing with this. I'm going to want perpendicular loops, which means holding this that way. When I put this in here, using gravity to my advantage. All right, and now I've got my perpendicular loops. Bloop. That is perfect. So now I can put my rose charm on there, and then swoop this on there. All right. So far we've had more easy earrings. We had a couple that were a little more challenging, like this one and this one. But we're just having fun because we're just making some earrings. That's all we're doing. Just making some earrings. I love that. That is just beautiful. Minimalist earrings, I do not know how to do them. Sorry. All right, we're gonna do the same thing with this guy. I'm gonna make myself some links. I'm gonna start with purple and then the bead caps on either side of the blue beads. And then our very, very light purpley mauve colors. And that is a little bit bent uppy, so I'm just gonna straighten that out a little bit before I move on. There we go. And for this one, again, we're gonna want perpendicular loops. So let's turn that guy. Ooh, 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 a little crunch. Is the bead still good? Okay, the bead's still good. That crunch is scary. I had the bead a little bit too close, and I think it was just, yeah, no, the beads are still okay. The beads are okay. All right, let's swing that open. Put our charm on. I love being able to make earrings with charms. It just makes it so easy. It just makes it easy to put together something simple and lovely. Like I said, easy wins. Easy wins. We are having a welcome to spring beading party with our earrings tonight. All right, I'm gonna make some drops to go on here. And to do that, I'm going to be using these ball head pins, my round nose pliers, and I'm going to be picking some ball head pins that aren't super bent already. Oof. Some of those need some straightening out. It's not hard to straighten them out. You can just take that bendy bit there, just kind of tamp it through gently your pliers, and I'll bend it out. I'll straighten it out quite a bit. Like that. And like I said, do it gently, because if you do it not so gently, oh, these two are stuck together. Well, yeah, if you do it not so gently, you run the risk of work hardening the wire to the point that when you go to wrap it, it will break on you. So just gently, gently. All right, I'm putting on the little turquoise rondelle, and then my garnet bead. Like this. Now I'm going to do a wire wraps loop. I'm actually, instead of bending it over my pliers, I'm going to put my round nose pliers right next to where it's at. I'm just going to do a soft bend and bend it over that way. All right, now since I want to attach this to my finding before I wrap the loop, I'm going to go ahead and do that. But let me actually make my loop for my other two before I start attaching it here, just for funsies, just to have some fun with it. All right, let's get this guy on here. These guys are going through here. Alright, fold it over the top. Make ourselves a nice little loop, and now I can slide my findings right onto that loop. If I need to open it with my pliers, I can. Sometimes you don't need to though. Sometimes it just goes right on there. What I am going to do is hold that loop while I use my fingers to wrap my wire around down to my beads. Okay, let's snip off my excess around the back of it. It doesn't really matter back or front, but I find it's a little bit nicer looking if you don't see that wire end from the front. And this finding does have a front and back. This side is more raised and this side is more concave. Just very gently, because I don't want to crush my garnet, tucking the end of that wire in. All right, that's one dangle. This is the last one, guys, so spend a little extra time on it. That's what we're doing. And I'm gonna just swing that up just a little bit to get this on here on the second one. I'm going to swing it closed and then hold on to the loop while I move the wire around that stem down towards my beads. I think this is the one that I straightened out a little bit. It is working just fine. And again, very gently with that end, because you don't want to damage that garnet. All right. One more. Swing that open. Put this through that hole. Swing it closed. Hold on to the loop. This part's a little more tricky because I've got these other dangles in the way. That's okay. Alright, so one dangle, and now I'm going to make a little link with this turquoise bead, the 4mm garnet. And this 4mm garnet came in the, this was not in the bargain bead box, this came in the companion bundle. What? Loop, loop. Once again, I want some perpendicular loops. And once again, I want to be very careful so that we don't crush this when we make our second loop. So I'm going to want to leave a little bit of room there, like you can see right there. All right. Open this up, put my guy on there. And I think that's it for all of our first earrings. I'll go through and make the second ones on my own. But I'm very happy with how these turned out. I'm glad I got my companion bundle because it really expanded what I could do with this bundle. Really allowed me to play a lot more with that spring theme with all of these. Just putting them all right next to each other so you can see them all together. Two more. You know what? I think one of my very favorite bargain bead boxes, which might have been the first one that I got actually, or no, I think it was the second one that I got, but the first one that I actually made something out of was one with, I think we had antique copper, pink and green beads in it, and it's one of my favorite bead boxes that we got. So beautiful. And I wear the things that I made from that all the time. So I'm happy to have some more pink and green to add to that. But this is, I love this. That is a delicious, delicious rosy guy. And then we've got our beautiful like blues and pinks and turquoises and some greens. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a wonderful weekend, and I will talk to you later. If you like what you saw, hit the like button. If you want to see more, hit subscribe. And again, I'll put links in the description for those previous videos, as well as the Beadbox Bargains site if you wanted to get any of these.